ProFlight started in 1988 as an in-aircraft training facility. We didn't have simulators back then. The simulators that we have now are what we call level D sims, and level D represents the most realism, the most realistic experience in the flight simulator. It is almost impossible to tell the difference between the actual aircraft and the simulator. It's basically a mini IMAX theater with what we call a collimated mirror. The collimated mirrors are basically optically perfect mirrors in a concave arrangement, and that collimation magnifies the image and makes it so your eyes focus at infinity. And that creates the illusion to the pilots that it's 3D. The eye point that each pilot sees, whether you're in the pilot seat or the co-pilot seat, is correct for that seat. With these simulators now, you can basically do anything.
You can do all kinds of dangerous scenarios that you couldn't normally practice. You can practice, multiple failures, while you're flying in certain weather conditions.
Thunderstorms, hail, ice, severe turbulence, structural damage to the airplane. We can do all of that.
And of course, the airport's ours. We don't have to fit in with other traffic, right? We want to do a circling approach, we're the only ones there. And if we want to make a guy taxi in front of you so you have to do a go around, we can do that too.
The Level D Part 60 sims are so sophisticated that you can show up, get your license to fly this particular jet, step in the airplane and fly passengers. Having never set foot in a real aircraft, everyone that does that and experienced that always reports back to us that says there was no difference. They were just blown away by how incredibly identical it was to the actual airplane.
You can't train different people the same way. You have to read the individual, see what motivates them, see how they learn, because everybody learns differently.
Here we're able to break things down, talk about them in advance, and more proceduralize somebody's flying.
Every flight that you take is a mission. We don't just, reposition you to certain airports and bounce you around and do unrealistic things, or stay at one particular airport and just fly circles practicing landings and approaches.
We can break things down to smaller pieces. We can observe them closely.
If there's a mistake made, we can actually rewind data bit by bit by bit by bit. We can take them back and show them where the mistake was made, and they can change it and then fly out from that point. So now you actually know what went wrong, and you know how to fix it, and then you fly out from that point. Never been done before in simulation.
One of the I think, key differentiators of ProFlight is that we really try to get experienced instructors. All of our instructors are type rated in the aircraft. So when they're teaching you, they're not just basically reciting from a textbook, they're actually speaking from experience.
One of the things we emphasize here is that the most important thing is for you to fly the airplane first.
You've got to get fundamental techniques, stay within the boundaries of the procedures, and then always, always, always go back to the basics.
We do have the CJ Current 365 program. The whole idea of that program is to basically maintain your currency year-round. You get your 6158 proficiency training done.
And when you leave here, you're going to get an email that asks you one question. What are you going to do if? You answer the question, you get it right, it says, okay, you got that one right, do you want another one? The other thing that's really amazing about that program is it learns your strengths and weaknesses. So if it discovers that you always get the fuel question right, you always score very high in fuel, it will de-emphasize that and focus in on maybe electrical where you're a little bit weaker.
And after that, you're allowed to come back as many times as you want, use all our training assets so you can maintain your currency throughout the year.
It puts you in control of how much information you get, which is tremendously important.
When you leave here, there's a lot more to learn. It's kind of like a license to learn more.
Train for life, because that's what we do here.